Coach Auburn, comment, raise your hand, we'll get you a mic. Your hands up, please.
Well, this was a great win for our team. Really proud of our team, especially the way they played the second half. Turned it around on offense, really dominated the game, time of possession. Had some really good drives, didn't always finish, but really executed a lot better in the second half. This is a game that means a lot to a lot of people in this state, and I'm certainly happy for our supporters, our fans, the people who support the University of Alabama, that they can be happy about the victory that we had today. Auburn's got a really good team. We knew this was going to be a tough game, but I'm really proud of the way our guys competed. I'm proud of our seniors for the career that they've had here. They're going to have more opportunities to play, just not here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but those guys have had a fantastic career. They've contributed mightily to the program, and not only as football players, but the kind of people they are, the example that they set as leaders, and the good job that they've done academically and having success academically. So really can't say enough about the great feeling that I have in terms of the way our guys competed in the game today. But this is a great win, and I want our players to enjoy it. But we also have a big challenge coming up next week. This is sort of like being in the playoffs. So we've got to play a good game next week. We'll get ready for that starting on Monday and kind of go from there.
Start on the left side here with Chris Walsh.
Another game without giving up a touchdown. How have you been able to do this defensively and maintain this high level?
Well, our defensive players just really play well together. They all present some tough issues and challenges with personnel groups, motions, formation adjustments, and I thought our guys did a really good job for the most part adjusting to those. And the defense was put in some really tough spots in this game. I think there was a point in the game where they had just 1 or 2 first downs and had 9 points because of turnovers, poor punt coverage that they had a big return on. So we had some really, really challenging field position situations in this game, and our players really responded well to it. Look, we just play one play at a time. We try to prepare our guys the best we can to go out there and play well. Losing 2 guys in the secondary today, Tony Brown and Marlon going out, were really difficult. I think Marlon will be okay. We just didn't put him back in the game. So after losing Eddie a few weeks ago, we're really pretty thin back there. So, but the guys that went in there today certainly did a good job for us and didn't hurt us in any way. And I was really proud of the way the guys competed. I can't tell you about the scoring touchdown thing. I know our guys are very competitive and they have a lot of pride. And they played at a very high level, especially these last 3 or 4 games.
Going right there.
You put up 500 yards of total offense. What do you think? How did your offensive line respond to the challenge of their front seven and your tight ends do?
Well, I think in the second half really well. We didn't run the ball great in the first half. I think that was part of the issue. I put a lot on the quarterback, and he was struggling a little bit. Turned the ball over a couple times. Didn't execute the way we needed to, but at halftime, I guess everybody thought I was going to throw a fit, but I just really told the guys, I said, look, guys, all we got to do is go out there and play with some poise and confidence. And trust and believe in how we do things, what we do, and everybody's got to go do their job because we have too many guys that are making mistakes, not blocking the right guys. We got to control the line of scrimmage in the second half and control the game, and I think our offensive line did a good job of that in the second half especially. Bo Scarborough did a really good job in the second half, so I think all of our backs did, but he hadn't played for a while, and I think it was a big boost for him getting in there and gaining 90 yards or whatever he gained.
Back over here. Michael?
Along those lines, were there any adjustments made offensively to the game plan after halftime?
Yeah. Did it look the same in the second half as it did the first?
I guess what were the adjustments?
Was I at the same game you were? I don't know. We made adjustments. I mean, we ran the ball more. We ran the ball with the tailbacks a lot more. We didn't run the quarterback nearly as much. We settled down into some basic things that we do and allowed our players to execute, and I thought they did a really good job.
Come back in the front with Mark.
Yeah, I just want to ask about our Darius Stewart. The last two games he's played in, has gone over 100 yards and had like 4 touchdowns. How's he playing so far?
Well, he played great today, and I think he had 10 catches, and he's been very productive for us, and he didn't play in the last game, but he certainly came back and competed well, and has done the things that we asked him to do, and really pleased with the year that he's had in total. He's another guy that's a really good competitor, and I think it means a lot to him, and the example that he sets is beneficial to that entire unit.
Come back over here to Rachel.
Coach, I have 2 questions for you. You mentioned Bo Scarborough. I also was watching Josh Jacobs run that when carrying people with him. And I couldn't help but think about player development and Coach Burton Burns. I'm curious what he means to you and to the development of these players.
Well, he's done a fantastic job. We've been very blessed here to have some great running backs, but they've all improved in their career here because, for the most part, those guys really like Burton. He's probably one of the most well-liked guys by our players and our team. He's also added special teams to his repertoire of things that he's responsible for, but I think all 3 of those backs have made really nice progress. Damon Harrison last year to this year, Josh being a freshman has made a nice contribution, and Bo Scarborough, when he's been healthy, has been very effective.
And Coach, Jalen Hurts, he shows incredible resolve even after he makes a mistake. He's able to shake it off, keep going. Did he arrive here like that? Is that something you've seen grow in him?
Well, my conversation with Jalen, I always had a couple with him through the course of the week, was, not try to create things. Don't just take what the defense gives and execute the play the way it's supposed to be. And don't think you have to make something bigger than it is. If you're supposed to hand the ball off, hand it off. Don't think that you're going to be able to just read what you're supposed to read. Throw the ball where you're supposed to throw it. They're middle field coverage. If you're supposed to throw it to the X, throw it to the X. I mean, that's kind of my sort of conversations with him. And sometimes in the first half, he got a little bit out of sync, a little bit out of sorts. I think he gathered himself at halftime and really played well in the second half, and didn't have any of those errors.
Stay over here with Ivan.
Nick, by traditional standards, this team's only had one-score victory. Everything else has been by more than that. You're far and away, by everybody's standard, number 1 at this point. How good has this regular season been in your mind?
Well, I'm proud of our players. I mean, to have an undefeated season, especially in our league, and I know they're not all there now, but I think there's 6 or 7 teams that were ranked in the top 20 when we played them. So I'm really, really proud of the way these guys have competed and the resolve that they showed in some difficult circumstances, especially at Ole Miss early in the year when we got behind 24-3. And the consistency in performance, I think that's the most difficult thing for any team now, especially college players, to be able to sustain that for the season. And really, really pleased and proud of our players that we've been able to do that. And we've had some really difficult games against some really good teams, and it's not going to stop here. We've got other challenges. Florida's got a really good team. They got a really good defensive team. They got good all-around players. So that's going to be another tough test for us, and hopefully we can get some guys healthy enough that we'll have a representative team to play in that game.
Step front with Ken.
After the targeting on Tony Brown, what adjustment, your personnel adjustments, saw Deontay Thompson on the field a little bit more. How did those guys do, and what did you have to do to shuttle a little bit?
I think those guys did a good job today. They weren't responsible for giving up really any of the big plays. We gave up a couple big plays in the second half, but I don't think they were responsible for it. Minka had to go back and play star, which he hasn't really played for 3 or 4 games, or however long ago it was when Eddie got hurt. And a lot of difficult adjustments in this game. They do a lot of good things on offense that are difficult to adjust to, and he was able to go in there and do a good job. Rudy did a good job moving over to strong safety and playing in his spot, and Deontay had to play, and then Marlon goes out, and another guy had to win. So every one of those guys, Levi, did a good job when he played for Mark. Every one of those guys stepped up and did a did a good job today, so I was really pleased about that.
And just one more if I could, pregame, Lawrence Aracasima, that moment, well, were you aware that his mom was gonna come out, and tell us a little bit about that?
You know, he's a fine young man, he's been in the program for a long time. I have a special place in my heart for all the guys. All the star players get a big ovation, they get to play, they get accolades, they get nominated for awards. A lot of those guys, you know, they play their game on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, helping the rest of the players get ready for the game. And, you know, Lawrence is one of those guys that has done a phenomenal job here. He's had some, you know, ups and downs, been injured, kind of came back. But for his mother to be able to come today almost made me cry.
Nick, is
Come back over here with Dennis. Yeah.
as the only undefeated Power 5 team left, there's only 2 left in the country, what sense of accomplishment do you have at this point, going into a game that some may argue, I'm not saying this, that you don't necessarily have to win to get to the playoff?
Well, I hate it when you say that. You know, I hate it when they put that on TV, radio, internet, any kind of communication. Look, I'm really proud of our team, but really the legacy of the team still lies ahead in terms of what they can accomplish and what they can do. So I don't want to minimize the fact that I don't think it's a significant accomplishment to have an undefeated season. But I also think that there's a lot more out there for this team in terms of an SEC championship, which we still hold in very high esteem. I think it's a great accomplishment for any team. So that's our next focus, and that's the next thing that we want to focus on. And then whatever happens from there, happens from there. But this is like being in the playoffs. And you can't really fall in love with what you just did. You've got to look to the next challenge. And as proud as I am of the team and what they've accomplished, I know how important it is for all of them and for us as coaches to try to do the best job that we can to help them finish the season and accomplish some other things that are pretty significant as well.
Last two more quickly, we'll start with Ben.
Auburn's run game has kind of been a strength of theirs all season. Your run defense has been a strength of your guys. How do you feel like that matchup went for you all?
I think if I hear your question correctly, you're asking how our run defense matched up today. Well, our guys did a really good job against, I think we controlled a lot of scrimmage pretty well. They didn't have a lot of explosive runs. They did a good job of keeping edges on the defense, when they ran their cat sweeps and a lot of their motion plays. I think our players did a really good job of playing together as a team, which I think is really, really important when you play, this kind of offense. Everybody's got to do their job. The one big play, we stopped inside and carry on bounced outside, really had to play stop. But the force guy came inside and then the ball bounced outside. So that was probably our worst play of the day. But I was really concerned. Would we be able to stop these guys? And I was really proud of the way our guys played in the game. Stop the run.
Last one with Alex.
You talked about some of those big plays against the secondary. Just what you see from the entire secondary in the game and kind of the way they fall back a little bit.
Talking about our secondary? Well, we gave up a couple big plays in the second half, but we actually drew the plays up that they hit us on. When you play somebody for 10 years here and 5 years at LSU, and we played against this coaching staff a lot, they've got our coaches, so they know what we do. We kind of know a little bit about what they do. We drew the plays up at halftime. They're going to run these plays. And they did, and we didn't defend them very well. Got to give them credit because we're up there playing the run. It was difficult to match those patterns. Running deep over routes off the play action, it's tough. So we weren't probably in the best thing we could have been in. We're in the best thing we could be in to stop the run, not necessarily the best thing we could have been in to stop the pass. So that's always something that you have to pick and choose on. But we knew those shots were coming, and we got them.
Coach. Thank